Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 28 of the French Fox podcast. Glad to have you here. We're so excited. Today we have Dylan.
Never eat soggy waffles.
Will.
I love soggy waffles.
And back from his long hiatus, Ben.
What's up, guys? It's good to be back.
And I am Augie. Let's get into it. Roll the intro.
French fries. French fries.
Yeah.
French fries.
Yeah.
French fries podcast.
It's a podcast.
So, guys, you know what it's time for? Since we last spoke. Roll this Since We Last Spoke intro.
Talking is easy, we gotta catch up. Please don't hold a single little thing for me. Since we last spoke.
You all know what that theme means. It means we got to catch up on what's happened to all of us since we last spoke. Now, Ben, since we last spoke to you, Christmas.
The most wonderful time
New
of
Year's.
the year.
That's it. That's all that happened.
Your birthday.
Groundhogs.
True. I
Groundhog
did
Day.
finally turn 18, making the entire French Fox team adults. So we're professionals, basically, at what we do.
Yep.
Um,
You missed Steve Tim's wedding.
Oh, yeah, he has a wife.
Steve Tim got married?
Steve Kim.
Steve Kim.
Wait. is,
They take the first name
Is it-
like
is it-
in Asian culture.
is it a husband or?
No.
Oh.
Tim, Kim. Kim is a girl's name.
Yeah, but Steve.
No, they take the. Okay, our audience already knows about this. You should just listen more.
Okay, I mean, I was at the wedding, but
Well, then why are you so confused?
just because, like, I was really enjoying the creme brulee that the waiters were bringing around.
During the
Yeah,
service.
Pentatonics was
Yes.
awesome too.
I can't believe he got pentatonics at his wedding.
They performed
They owe
as
him
they
a-
walked down the
They
aisle.
owe him a, they owe him a life debt. Each member owes Steve Tim.
Why?
What did
He called
Steve
in
do
each
for
favor.
them?
Steve
you
is the
know,
biggest mystery.
Steve and I keep that between the two of us.
Oh my God, but his wife is so kind. I
Anyone
really love
else
her.
do anything fun? Ben, do you have any specific stories?
I mean, I just like, obviously the whole month of January I had to take off because I was training.
For what?
For a mayor. Now, I was training for the academic decathlon, which is an intellectual marathon, some might call it. Nah, not that serious. But this year, me and some other kids from my school took on some curriculum from the 1960s in 10 different disciplines of study. So studying math, art, literature, economics, science, social science. And you also give a speech, you give an interview. You do all sorts of different activities, events that test your aptitude at the knowledge of the 1960s.
How'd
And
you
so
do?
We find out tomorrow for certain.
Ooh, so when this podcast airs, we'll know.
Yes. Tomorrow,
Exciting.
they will be giving out both individual medals and then team awards. So I'm hoping, just based off like projections, this is the regional competition. So I stand a pretty good chance at getting some medals. Like I'll definitely be in like the bronze and silver, and then I'm hoping to push into gold in terms of regional. And then after this, we'll go to state, where I probably won't be medaling anymore, but then it'll just be about getting that team score as high as possible. And that's going to be awesome. The only thing we do know for sure is yesterday we did the super quiz competition, which is the closest that academic decathlon gets to like the thing you would see on TV. And we did win that portion of the competition, but there's a lot more that goes on. So I'll have more to say next week, but that's where I was all month. And I'm so like happy, relieved. Like yesterday was just an awesome culmination of hard work. And now I'm back in the studio. So
We're proud of you and we're happy to have you back.
What's the weirdest question you had?
the weirdest question. Ooh, I'm trying to, well, darn it. I had it. Okay. This is probably it. And just to bounce off what Augie said about pentatonics, there is a very like abstract avant-garde choral piece of music we had to study called Symphonia for 8 voices and and then and 2 orchestras or something. And so Luciano Berio, who is the composer of it, had the Swingle sisters come. The Swingle Singers. I should know this. The Swingle Singers come in to sing the various very weird choral parts. But the question I got was who is singing the choral parts in Symphonia, and one of the choices was Pentatonics. And I was like, well, I'm going to use the process of elimination here. I don't believe it was Pentatonics who sang Berio's Symphonia.
Do you know, was there a question where you're like, I have no idea?
Yes, and that's where it gets really hurtful and sad, because we've been studying this material for the last 7-8 months, and what's crazy about that is it was all leading up to yesterday. Yesterday was the day, and there was still, obviously on most questions it's either instant knowing or 4 answers are wrong, so 1 is right, or you get it down to 2 and then you have to guess. But the ones that hurt is when your last 8 months, 7 months or whatever have been this has been your life, and there's still just a question that you're I don't know.
Like what?
A lot of numbers can get you, economics, when it says the United States GDP surged to blank in 1966.
But it's not like who was the 43rd president of the U.S. and your team's the one thing we didn't study.
No. One funny thing is obviously we've all been to DTask, and so just for the listeners who know, DTask is kind of it's the similar.
It stands for the Drama Teachers Association of Southern California.
Pronounced
and it's a
DTask.
theater. It's a theater festival where different schools, theater competition rather, where schools come, they bring their scenes and they compete, and there's judges and winners. And there's kind of this weird effect where you're surrounded by people who do the same thing as you, but you're at competitions. So you're always kind of sizing up the other people. And so when you're at DTask, when you see a scene that's better than yours and the kids are super talented, you're oh my God, that was insane, and you get intimidated. When you see one that's not up to par with yours, you're ho. And so it's a similar thing when I'm walking out of a test. And so we studied the 1960s, and the 1960s, of course, had the presidents John F. Kennedy at the beginning of the decade. Then he was killed. Lyndon B. Johnson took over.
Rip.
Rest in peace.
And then finally, Richard Nixon for a short period at the end.
Shout
Best
out.
president of-
Shout out.
Until he
Give it to him.
until he broke the law a lot.
Actually, he never was prosecuted for that. So
Because he was pardoned by
allegedly-
Gerald.
Allegedly.
He was pardoned by Gerald Ford. But
that sounds like the
Shout
70s.
out. Shout out Gerald Ford.
But when I'm walking out of the test room and there are some kids saying why did the test focus so much on Lyndon B. Johnson? He's the most forgettable president ever. And you're just okay. Some people were definitely looking at the test and.
I have a question, because I'm not in Academica, so maybe this is about to be really dumb. But wait, isn't Lyndon B. Johnson the one that was involved in the Vietnam War and all that controversy?
Yes.
So how is that forgettable?
No, that's.
He also passed the Civil Rights Act, right?
Yes, he's. You could make the argument.
Wait, is that the guy that's in Skyscraper?
That's Dwayne the Rock.
Lyndon B. Johnson?
No, that's Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Wait, is that the guy who wrote Hamilton?
Yeah.
That's Lin-Manuel Johnson.
Oh, there's so many talented Johnsons in the world.
Yeah, but anyway, so our team at least knew the presidents, and what we would get caught on, I think, is the numbers, the very specific stuff. But there were some people there who
We're struggling.
I wonder
Have you all seen that? This is what's making me think of the episode of The Office where they go do trivia night to try and win the $1,000.
Oh, yeah. I love that
They do
episode.
trivia. So Augie, you look kind of confused. They do trivia night, and what they split up into 3 teams: the A team, the B team, and the C team. The C team is Kevin, Kelly, Aaron.
Isn't
and
Oscar on the C team though?
No,
'Cause-
Oscar's on his own team because
Oh.
it's a gay bar, and this is what Oscar had to get off work early to do.
Got it.
And anyway, the C team winds up winning because they have such abstract knowledge, and then they go
Yes.
out to other nights and do it, and it was just a total fluke. They're asking questions, they're putting Oscar the Grouch, and the answer is Gerald Ford.
Can we do that? French Fox Office?
Sure.
I would love to do trivia. I think it's so fun. And
Let's do a trivia. Wait, we do trivia.
Yeah.
Almost every week on the podcast,
Yeah.
we do trivia.
And we always
You mean,
Someone-
are you referring to like the quizzes?
Yeah,
oh, you
that's
mean
trivia.
quiz o'clock?
Yeah, that's quiz o'clock.
I mean, can we do it in a way that's like fun and entertaining?
Okay, well, here's what happened since we last spoke for me.
Did anyone ask you?
Yes, it's in the name. I watched the Ted Bundy stuff on Netflix. Has anyone watched this?
I have not. I've scrolled
It's-
over it and
No.
watched the teaser.
It is so good and intriguing. It's just crazy because it was like the word serial killer wasn't really a thing before him. Like no one thought the different missing people were connected. Anyways, it was really good.
What year was Ted Bundy?
Like the 70s.
You know what's absolutely crazy to me? The Zodiac killer. No one knows.
Yeah.
No,
Can you give a little
crazy.
context on the Zodiac killer?
You know, I don't want to pretend that I know so much, but pretty much. No, it's not Ted Cruz. It was his father. But anyway, during like when was it? I don't know. During some time frame in San Francisco, this guy was going around just killing like couples in their car, like just shooting them and leaving like zodiac signs, like a zodiac, like
like Leo, the lion.
No, he wasn't.
What?
He wasn't leaving like Aquarius everywhere.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
dang it.
Then what zodiac sign then?
I have a related story that is actually very currently relevant. So there's I got serial killed the other day. Just kidding. That felt related though. Anyway, there's by a park very near where we live. I won't say it because I don't want to lead to the triangulation of where we live. But there's a park nearby where there's now been a few murders from someone like sniping or shooting people whenever they camp out in this one area. And then the
Jeez.
Hold on, this is near us because I want to know the name of the park so I don't go there.
I will
So I
tell
don't
you the
get-
name of the park after the
sniping?
podcast.
They're
There's been
sniping?
snipes. There was one time where it was like a guy and his daughter, and then he got shot. I believe
he was sniped.
Wait,
no,
guys,
he got
it's a
shot in the
serious
tent.
topic.
But then there was then someone got arrested for it, and it seemed to stop for a while.
Oh no, I know what's gonna happen.
But everybody, and I don't even, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think it's happened again. I think there might have
Oh,
been.
dang it. I
But
thought
wait,
someone was gonna
but
get
wait,
sniped.
There was suspect behavior. Someone was driving in their car and like their window broke and there was a bullet, like someone tried to.
I feel like that's more than suspect behavior.
No,
That-
but here's the thing.
That
but,
feels like
but they don't know if
confirmed
it was
got
the
wrong
same guy. They don't know if it was the same guy, but there's other sus things. So like I heard about this because there's this reporter that's looking into it, and it's like they got the wrong guy, but they're still prosecuting this one guy instead of looking, and they also aren't releasing any information at all about the case. So
Yeah,
it's
they
like-
were talking about that in the Ted Bundy stuff, like how they couldn't release information. So like now we have it all, but they couldn't, and everyone was like, "What are you
Yeah.
gonna do about this?" And they're like, "We're trying to figure it out.
That's
but we
like-
have no information."
A very cool Deca fact that I've learned is that you know how like everyone's heard of like the missile gap, right? Like when Russia had more missiles than us, so we were like all scared and we started pushing money into like STEM and NASA and stuff.
The arms race.
Yes. Well, JFK basically ran his entire election on the missile gap. And the second he won the election and got in office, he gets in a brief room. They're like, there is no missile gap. And Nixon just couldn't mention it because it was because Nixon was vice president at the time. Eisenhower was the president. And the missile gap did not exist, but that was confidential. So Kennedy basically won on garbage.
Everyone pushed their mics.
But he was so charismatic, so I'm with it.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting.
And then
stuff.
Charles Manson in the 60s listened to the Beatles' White Album and decided that he was going to kill white people and make it look like black people did it because he wanted to start a race war.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No,
Very cool. And that's like,
I need to watch the
I
Netflix on
lived-
Charles Manson.
Oh, I lived in the Chatsworth area, literally looking out onto the Manson Ranch.
wow.
Holy
yeah.
That's spooky.
Most of, if not all of the Manson murder, I listened to a podcast on it. I'm not like actually smart.
What's it called?
Oh shoot, I think
Murderer.
I think it's it's a series called Do You Remember This, where it's Hollywood history, but
It's
they
like, do you remember
This.
kind of.
the serial murder, Mr.
Yes.
Manson?
So it's just Hollywood stories, but they had a whole series on Charles Manson, and I don't know if it was all of them. Maybe he killed one or two people. Most of the murders, it's very
I
interesting.
think he killed 7.
You
I'm
cannot
fairly
actually
sure.
be no, but he didn't kill them. That was the whole like
His cult
weird
did.
thing about. Yeah, he was very careful to make it so that there's no actual murder charge on a lot of the stuff, if not all of them. I don't remember.
I think he was just a very bitter soul. Basically, he was trying to make a rock and roll career. Like he was friends with the Beach Boys. he listened to the Beatles, and he tried to get the Beach Boys agent to sign him. And the guy was like, dude, like, it's not for you. Like, it's not for everyone. And he started a race war. So attempted to.
Interesting. You know what's interesting about sniping? This is getting a little dark. I remember one of my friends is like really into like guns, and he was talking about them. No, you know the movie American Sniper with
yes, with Bradley Cooper.
Yeah,
it was a great performance.
There's like some
from him.
fun fact where like it takes 6 seconds for the average human to react to a gunshot. So like the American sniper. And then 6 seconds later, like 1, 2, 3, in those 6 seconds, I'm not moving. Like I have to think about, like I have to look around what's going on. It's crazy. Like
wait, explain the context. But like, does a bullet travel in like half a second? Like, what are you saying?
So like in the movie, the point is Bradley Cooper in the movie, there's like a field of open people, and he has to kill like a certain amount of them. But he has to. They're
get to the
they're
next
terrorists.
level.
They're not good guys. Exactly to get to the
beat
next
the
level.
level.
They're terrorists. They're not good guys. So the point is he has to shoot them, but he has to plan strategically which ones he's
he
going
has
to
to
shoot.
get them all before any of them realize.
Not before any of them can escape. So he has to get. It's crazy. Watch the movie. It's not as dark as it sounds. Watch the movie.
It's a good movie and it's a true story, and Bradley Cooper does put on a great performance. I have seen that movie twice, I think.
Ariana Grande
Oh, her tattoo.
got a tattoo.
I haven't seen this.
She got a tattoo.
Can I see a picture of the tattato?
It's
I love
just,
Ari.
It's just it's Chinese symbols. I really don't want to mess that
right,
up. I think it's Chinese
Is
symbols.
it letters or symbols or
like it's supposed to say something. It was supposed to say 7 rings, as in her new bop, which is not as good as Thank You Next, but it's still
I heard
fire.
it today in the bagel shop.
It's still fire. However, she posted it on Instagram, and fans were quick to realize that it, instead of saying 7 rings, said barbecue grill. So
No.
in that way, it was a bit of a mistake.
Except, do you know the full story?
That's hilarious.
Give it to me,
That
Will.
is hilarious.
So apparently she comes back and says, well, yeah, I know that this doesn't say 7 rings, but the full text hurt too much, so I just got a part of it. And that part of it was barbecue grill. Because we know...
language is fascinating.
Right?
Like, how could those two be so
Yeah.
related?
and then people were like, yeah, but you can't just like... you can't just
Yeah.
get part of it. And like there's a bunch of funny things where like people like writing on their hands like pig farm, and they're like, this is supposed to say I love my family, but I didn't want to write the full thing.
Yeah.
is
And then I
funny.
also heard that she like got it fixed, but then it was like even worse.
Yeah, she didn't get it the full thing.
Yeah, she got it like more, but like it was a totally different word again.
She should just get it removed.
You guys interested in tattoos?
Very against.
Really? Against, like passionate?
Passionately against.
I support Will. I mean, I don't judge people for having them, but I will personally
Fair.
never get
Yes,
I will-
yes.
Yeah.
I will personally never get a tattoo.
Oh, people can get tattoos, and I think they can be beautiful expressions of things, but I would personally never get one.
I think it has. Sorry, Dylan. What are your thoughts on tattoos?
Dylan has no thoughts on
Oh,
tattoos.
okay. So
Nor any desires.
I'm also like I have no desire for tattoos, and I think it has a lot to do with parents, because like the people who like get tattoos, I feel like their parents have tattoos.
Fair.
Like none of our parents have tattoos, correct?
Correct.
That we know of.
Shut up.
But
God.
but so we have no drive to get tattoos. But like I've talked to friends who like want to get tattoos, or like I have friends who get tattoos even though they're underage. And it's like a
blows
thing.
my mind.
It's a thing that
Like-
they grew up with, that their parents like had and like added or whatever.
Yeah.
I also always worry about when people who are underage, like you said, or even people in my school who are 18s, then they go and they get tattoos. And I mean, like you all said, I don't judge it ever. Like it doesn't affect me. Sometimes they look really cool, but then I also always wonder if it's kind of like, because in our society that's seen as like kind of cool to a certain group, and especially in high school, and like, oh wow, look how adult. So then I always wonder if that's almost like the vaping trend, where it became a thing where it's like trying to get on something that says something about you, or is like, look, I'm different now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
teens are always trying to like find ways to like express themselves and like be.
Yeah. I just I
Mature.
fear that like at least like at our school, where like I feel like I think that there's no one's really giving the introspective thought the tattoo deserves, and they're just kind of staining their skin, which I'm totally cool with. I really just think you should be 18. Like it scares me. You're 16 and getting a tattoo, 17 getting a tattoo,
12 and getting a tattoo,
8 and getting a tattoo.
2 and getting a tattoo.
I don't want to go any younger.
It was a 2.
That would just be
It was a 2.
that'd be
Like
so
two.
cruel.
Two.
Yeah.
I also like fear like how tattoos age. Like it's a long-term thing, and even though now there's a special ink you can get where instead
You
of
can
them
erase it.
Invisible ink.
instead of them
I have a bunch of invisible ink tattoos. You got to get a black light on me.
instead of them just putting the ink into like the layer of your skin, they put like tiny little balls with invisible membranes in, and then
Whoa.
so you get this is the ink you get like if you want the back door. So they're putting all these tiny little microscopic invisible balls into your skin to make the design, and then when you decide you're done with it, they shoot a laser at it, and the laser breaks down the membrane, and then the ink just floods into your bloodstream.
And then the
you-
government knows exactly where you are
Oh.
as the ink flows into your bloodstream.
I don't
and
know
they
the
can-
implications of the government in this, but you can get erasable tattoos, but I'm sure it gets so expensive and painful.
There's also there's a weird thing with that. I think it was when we were talking about wait till you're 18, and there's a weird thing which as an 18-year-old I really hated to see this, and I read it in one article, so I can't completely vouch for its validity, but I was reading something that was saying that there's actually the difference between being like 16 and 18 in you'll mature from experience that you've had in those 2 years of life, but in terms of like brain development, your brain develops more towards being like a full developed person in puberty, and it doesn't happen again until you're like, I think like it was like 25 or something. So it's just a weird thing that.
So
then
you're saying
we have-
there's not much of a difference of 16 to 18?
Yeah, so it's a weird thing that we have all these people that become legally adults like us, but then there's still the same as like developmentally as a 16-year-old, except for the experience that
That
time
does
provides.
kind of check out because you don't often see people who are like really stupid and impulsive in 10th grade being much different in 12th grade.
Fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're still. I don't know. That's not fair to me. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, I mean, we're generalizing, but like
Yeah.
because like I can think of cases where like it's the complete counter opposite, but I can also think of plenty where that's pretty spot on. You
Like
know what I mean?
Dylan, for example, actually got stupider from 10th to 12th grade.
Well, yes, because that ties into the experience thing where from 10th to 12th grade, I actually focused on forgetting everything that I had learned. But there are also people who will mature a lot more, but it won't be because of brain development. It will be because they had experiences in that time that just made them grow up or change. better, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and
is-
you can also like be getting more intelligent while you get stupider. You know what I mean? It's different types of knowledge that you're using.
Which is
tapping
really
into.
scary to me because like it's very possible that 20, 30 years down the line, I will look back at my beliefs today and be like, wow, I was so stupid. But I'm so like firm in my beliefs today. It's such a weird thought, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone changes their mind. Like, you never know, like, that. You could have, like, a turning point where all of a sudden, like, a tattoo makes perfect sense. Like, I know a lot of, like, families, like, jump on the tattoo thing. Like, they all get one tattoo, maybe in honor of
Tramp
someone.
stamps.
Or it's normally more of, like, a, maybe,
Oh.
like,
Wrist.
Oh well, yeah. I
Yeah,
wasn't counting my
wrist or
family's. I
ankle.
wasn't counting my family's tramp stamps. We all get one.
at birth. The baby has no say.
Yikes.
No, but I would never get rid of my tramp stamp.
But yeah.
Sorry. Quickly, I'm going to get a QR code tattooed onto my arm so that people can scan it and go to my YouTube.
So
Our
the government
YouTube or your YouTube?
I'll get 2.
Okay.
When they lasered my
Right
tramp
cheek,
stamp
left
off,
cheek.
when they lasered my tramp stamp off, it was the most painful experience of my entire
I'm
life.
sorry.
and then they lasered it back onto me.
Copy
It's-
and paste. Actually, that's cut and paste.
It's called tattoo transferring.
Wait, when you cut
wow, how'd
something,
they come up with that?
when you cut something, does it also copy it?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
That's what cut means.
I thought you have to copy it, then delete it, and then paste it.
Yeah,
No, cut
cut
does
does that in
that.
one. Cut does it in one step.
So every
Because
time.
think about when you like in real life you cut something.
Right.
It's
But my
still
question
there.
is, my question is, if
I was today
Stop.
years
Hold
old
on.
when I
hold on,
learned.
hold on. So if I have a blank document with a
Yep.
text box that says "I am Will,"
Yeah.
and I haven't copied anything, and I select it and I press cut and it disappears,
Yeah.
I can paste it immediately.
Absolutely.
Oh my!
It saves so much time, Will.
I've been picture me with the same document. Copying, trying to delete it, deleting it, and then pasting it. That was me. I could be 20 years younger with the time I could have
It's in
saved.
the title.
Yeah, cut. You're cut. You're out. Get rid of it.
But that's also delete. You
Yeah,
just
that's why-
used it as a delete key. It does the same thing.
It copies it to your clipboard.
Like that's even harder than just pressing delete. So speaking of chicken nuggets, there was a big scandal with nuggets.
What do you mean? Speaking of chicken nuggets, we weren't
Because,
talking about
Because
it
today,
before.
that when we're recording this, it's Super Bowl Sunday, and everyone knows classic Super Bowl Sunday food.
Tyson Foods.
Oh, I know.
People found. Let me read
Let
the quote.
him
A small
speak.
number of consumers contacted the company to say they had found a small pieces of soft blue rubber in the nuggets.
in the nuggies.
So they've been recalled. The company is recalling 36,000 pounds of nuggets.
36,000 pounds.
That's like 3 Americans.
That's 18 tons.
Yes.
My concern is, are they sure that it's a rubber?
What would it be?
Anything like a part of the chicken? Like I'd just be scared. I'd be like,
That's
what,
blue?
What is this?
Yeah, blue chicken thigh.
Your blood is blue
What on
until
earth?
it sees the air.
That I hate that. It's not.
Blood is blue.
What?
Your blood is blue.
I can't hear you.
Blood blue. Blue blood. No, it's true.
No, it's not. There
Yeah.
are certain parts because Ben, arteries are traveling away from the heart. Veins are going back towards the heart.
Yeah.
So the idea is that the blood is blue because there's no oxygen in it, right?
Correct,
There is
correct.
always oxygen in blood as it travels away from the heart. That's literally the function
but
of
on
the
its
heart
way
and
back,
the lungs.
it's blue.
Yes, but not all. That implies that all. Maybe right before it gets back into the heart, there's a little vein that's blue, but it's not like if you poke yourself and you were in like an airtight Ziploc bag. Like it'd
If
be
you were
blue.
in a vacuum,
I sleep in a airtight Ziploc bag.
and are you blue?
yeah.
No,
no, if you were in a vacuum and you cut yourself open, wouldn't your blood come out blue?
No, you'd literally have to cut like you'd have to know to cut a vein instead of an artery.
But I'm saying like you're sacrificing yourself for science. Like you're in a vacuum with no oxygen and you cut yourself open, your blood would come out blue.
Do you have oxygen in your lungs already?
No.
Well, if there's no oxygen in your body, but I'm saying like right now I'm breathing. Ready? Listen.
Oh, that's what it sounds like.
There is okay. Dylan really wants to say something.
I think that the issue is that for that to work, you would have to be you would have to be dead, but then your blood wouldn't be flowing anymore. So, but you can't be alive and have
Yeah,
no
but
oxygen.
I'm indifferent
Your
to the
blood
flow
need-
of the blood. I'm saying that blood is
But
blue.
the blood needs to flow for it to be.
Ben, in a perfect
Blood's
hypothetical
blue,
world,
idea.
in a perfect hypothetical world where I don't have to breathe and I prick my finger in a vacuum, it's still gonna come out red.
Where's the oxygen coming from?
There's oxygen in my body.
Blood's blue. Dabba dee dabba die. Dabba dee dabba die. Dabba dee dabba die. Blue, blue.
I'm glad they didn't
You know
ask
the little
you.
you know the little aliens?
Yeah, you know the little frog? What is the frog?
Crazy frog.
Yeah. What does he say?
Down, 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 down,
Dun, 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 dun. What about I'm a
Crazy frog.
what
Oh
about-
yeah? Do you know Left Shark?
Was
Do you
that
guys
laugh?
know Super Hot Fire?
Yes, of course. That's classic.
No.
No, but wait, it's the Super Bowl, so it's the 2-year anniversary of Left Shark.
Here, let me do my best left shark impression.
Do it audioically.
Okay, I'm okay. Wait, this is what the guy in left shark costume was thinking
Oh,
as
this is his
he
mindset.
walks on. He's walking. He's like, okay, this is my big break. This is my. Last year I was in the Super Bowl, but I was just in the background. I wasn't on
Wait,
camera.
can you give some context? It was
it's
just a
fine.
dancer.
I'm in it.
It was just a dancer.
Let me
I'm
start- let me
completely
start over.
immersed.
It's not for
Okay.
you.
Okay, I'm going on stage. Okay. Wait, who's performing? Katy Perry?
Katy Perry.
Okay. I like that. I know that. I'm gonna stand. Last year I was in the background, but this time I'm one of Katy Perry's good friends. She's got me in the front. I'm in the shark costume. I'm all prepared. Okay. Know my dance move. Oh, are we go? We're going now. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. Oh God.
God, the visibility in this thing is trash.
That was a mess. Oh my goodness, that was a mess. Like, okay, you know the song in chorus line? It's like, I really blew it. Oh God, I blew it.
I believe it's in
That's-
the. I
that's
believe
left-
that's a song in chorus line.
That's Left Shark. But then he's watching the news the next day. He's like, I'm a viral sensation. And he's still in his shark suit. He
Why is he still in his
hasn't
shark-
taken it out.
He
Why
hasn't
is he
taken it
still in
off.
his shark suit?
And then he goes on the Ellen show, still in his shark suit, and
Shark suit,
and Ellen
shark
presents him
suit.
with a cage. Not, I don't know if any of this happened.
An
but
aquarium.
yeah, and Left Shark's like, this was the best day of my life.
Does anyone know? Was it ever revealed the identity of Left Shark?
It was actually a real shark.
Oh,
It was Dead Mouse 5.
Dead Mouse 5.
It was Daft Punk.
Oh my God. Daft Punk's so cool. Good music too.
Okay, now it's time for question of the day. Cha cha cha.
Is this new?
Or of the pod. We had one last week.
Yeah, but it didn't have a theme song.
Question of the pod. Dun dun dun.
Podcast.
Okay. The question is, what is the first ever memory you have in your brain?
I have a cack one.
Really?
It's pretty cack. I don't know how old I was, but I was old enough to be, young enough to be in a crib, but old enough to walk
So
and-
maybe you were standing
and
up
to
in your
form
crib?
thoughts. Yeah. And my thought is, man, I really want to get out of this crib. I hate it in here. and I'm thinking, oh, there's a rope in the playroom that if I can get out and grab it and come back, I can tie a knot on the rope and throw it over and climb out.
Kid, you could not do this.
Right. I
Such a
couldn't
liar.
because I would have had to crawl out of the crib first
How'd you know
to
what a
get
knot
the rope.
was? Like,
I know. I was just thinking, in the movies, you throw it over and you climb over. But I wasn't thinking knots. I'm just embellishing,
got it.
putting my.
Did you do it?
No, because think about it. To get the rope to tie the knot to throw
You would have
over,
to
I would have
fall.
had to. I would have had to get out of the crib first, which is what I was trying to do.
And cribs are designed to
keep a baby
avoid
in.
just that.
All right,
Oh, I always wondered why they were like that.
get in the mind of me, a baby. I need to get out of this crib. That's it.
All right.
Such sophisticated thoughts. My first memory, I think, is from a very early birthday. Must have been my second, third, or fourth birthday. And
2, 3, or 4.
it was a Thomas the Tank Engine birthday party.
Of course.
And Thomas came to the party.
No, he didn't.
But good on my parents for breaking down gender roles very early on in my life. But I found out that Thomas was a woman.
Tomette.
It was Tomette.
Thomas is not a
And
woman.
I remember just
Wait, the person playing Thomas. Can you
Yes.
describe the costume?
it was
Blue, probably.
so it was like a
right?
blue morph suit with
Oh, God.
legs and arms, and then the torso was
terrifying.
Tom. The torso was Tom.
My question is her head hidden in
Yes.
or does her head come out on top and
no,
she has
you wouldn't have known she was a woman if it wasn't revealed to me.
I was so scared. How are you not crying? If I had seen that, I would have cried.
Well, I actually think I had a headache that day, so I was on my on this big chair we had in my house, just holding my head, sniffling. And Tomette came over to cheer me up.
That's so scary. That is so scary.
But I loved it. I loved Thomas.
Are you sure this wasn't a hallucination from your headache, a terrifying dream?
I've gotten migraines my whole life, but never hallucinations. So I think it was. I
you
I
know
believe
of.
it was real.
This whole podcast is a hallucination. Open your eyes, Ben.
On the count of 3, you will have no memory of this podcast. 1, 2.
4.
No, it's not gonna work now.
That was funny.
Thank you.
Augie,
My first ever.
Dylan? Will, what are you guys doing in my house?
My first ever memory was it's just a kind of a picture. I just remember sitting. I had a little table with little chairs for me, and
So you could throw tea parties.
yeah, I was just sitting at it, and I feel like someone was making me a quesadilla, with some ham and
goat
cheese.
baby food. All of us as babies just ate hella quesadillas.
Yeah.
I still eat hella quesadillas.
I've like transitioned away.
I don't
from
remember the
quesadillas.
last time I had a quesadilla. You guys want to get quesadillas?
I had
Right
it-
now.
Okay, bye.
So that was a fun podcast, everybody. No,
Adios,
that's my
amigos.
Oh, because quesadillas are
that's my first ever memory. I loved Thomas the Tank Engine and Bob the Builder.
Dora.
Oh, Bob the Builder's quality.
Bob the Builder came to my party. No, he didn't. But that would have been way less
it was
scary.
Bobette the Builder. It's like, Bob, your hair's so long.
That's all.
And so is your hammer.
What?
You know.
Okay, Dylan. Give it up for Dylan.
Hey,
He's going
I
to give
think-
us... I'm still so confused.
I think the first one I remember, it's a little tainted by like, there's a little video of it too, but I remember it from first person perspective also. So it's also a memory. But I'm sitting on my counter at like a house that I used to live in, and I had like, it must have been like an old iPod or something with like the old 80s headphones, like almost like Star-Lord had in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord. But, probably from my dad. And then I was listening to Hakuna Matata, and I remember thinking, yeah, what?
Cherry bomb.
No,
You're
Hakuna
so
Matata.
late.
I was just thinking about
You
Guardians
are
of the
so
Galaxy.
late.
Cherry bomb.
They also kind of like yell it. They don't cherry bomb.
Yeah, it's a soul remix.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to pop them.
Oh, God
Pop the
bless.
mic.
All right. But so oh my God. But I remember thinking, oh, in like the shows and stuff, people sing along to music when they're listening to it, like in the car and they're like bopping along. So then I started singing Hakuna Matata, and I thought I was sounding great. And my dad starts dancing in the kitchen. I'm like, this is awesome. But the video reveals that I'm really just going, again, like I was not really.
So in your head,
on my
like you
game.
were saying it perfectly.
Oh man, I was like, I was Timon in that moment.
Oh, Nathan Lane.
Yep.
Now it's time for the last segment of today's podcast. It's the recommendation railroad. The train has entered the station. It's time to give our recommendations. Ben is in an infinite eye roll right now.
This is
Ben,
the
why
first
don't
I'm
you
hearing
start?
of this.
Why don't you
No,
start
no,
us?
come back to me. Come back to
Okay,
me.
I got
I'll
one.
start it
Oh.
off. I watched the Ted Bundy thing, as I said. Very good. Don't watch it if you're like get really freaked out by that stuff. Sorry. I jumped something. For the question of the pod, that one was submitted by Sivan. Shout out to Sivan. But basically, if you have a question that you want us to answer, for us to think about, send it our way. You can comment on any of our social media or like tweet it, hashtag like French Fox. Just comment it on or at us.
I actually got a fan correction on something that we had said.
Please go ahead.
We had talked about West Wing and how it was one of Rob Lowe's first things. It was actually his comeback.
Oh,
He was a younger child actor
No
and then
kidding.
got caught doing some bad things with underage people.
Are you sure you aren't thinking of Robert Downey Jr.?
I'm thinking of Rob Lowe.
Okay.
And West Wing was his comeback, and it was supposed to be like funny.
No,
'cause-
I'm pretty sure his comeback were the DirecTV commercials where he's like, "Don't be that Rob Lowe.
Oh, those were so funny.
True.
Don't
Anyway,
be pedophile Rob Lowe."
Thank you.
God.
Be
Thank
West
you.
Wing Rob
I believe the username was curated by Augie.
Okay,
for
thank you.
correcting
Thank
it.
you, Audie. And thank you, Sivan, for the question of the pod. If you have a question of the pod, let us know. It's always fun. Okay, back to Chugga Chugga Recommendation Railroad.
Choo choo.
Ted Bundy, that is a super solid little documentary thing. And
Docuseries.
I've started kind of like looking into more true crime stuff because that's always fun. But I know I'm pretty late to the party on that. But I would recommend that little. It's only 4 episodes. It's like 4 hours.
Right
I
on.
got through it super quick.
Right on. Jumping in, I'm guessing was Fire Festival already recommended?
It
and
actually
recommended
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But I will recommend just for my DECA studies, I was finding myself sometimes just getting so bored reading. So like I would watch the crash course. They have like good stuff for like the literature. That's what I was using it for. But just their vlog channel, Vlog Brothers, they had a very interesting conversation over like 2 weeks recently on the implications of like motivation and kind of just like investigating how like when do the ends justify the means? Like, is it good to motivate yourself with negative fuel? Like saying like, I'm going to work hard because I want to be better than someone. And like, what does that get out of you? And it's just very interesting because like John Green, who's a novelist, said that when he was writing out of spite, like he was like, I hate the world. Why doesn't the world love my writing? Because I'm brilliant. I'm going to write to prove all these people wrong. He wasn't writing as well as he was when he was burning good fuel.
Which is something crazy. Like, this is gonna sound totally unrelated, but as you know, I golf, and
You do.
when I practice with the mindset like I want to be better than this person, my practice sessions are worse than when if I do well, this is what will be good for me, and I want to prove that I'm good, not to be better than anyone else, but just to prove to myself that I can be
So
better.
they go back and forth because that's how the structure of their channel works. But they just talk about the implications of running on bad fuel, good fuel, and what it means for us.
You'd recommend that?
I'd recommend it.
Vlogbrothers, the creators of VidCon. Just a little extra thing.
Wow.
Continue.
On the true crime kind of thing,
Yeah.
really good. Came out, I don't know, a year ago. It's Manhunt Unabomber. If you don't know who the Unabomber is, in the 90s, he was sending mail packages that were bombs. And no one knew who it was. And this was the rise of, this was when the FBI first launched its website. The internet was new. And they're like, www.fbi.com. Like, it's really
got
yeah,
it,
because they were
got
like,
it.
they didn't know, you know? And it's really great. Talks about the introduction of forensic linguistics. The acting is great. Of course, with any true crime kind of thing, there's a little bit of embellishment to make the story a little bit better. You know, with
I'd
like
probably make it flow for
digestible.
audio
yeah,
wise.
exactly. But
little
it's great. Manhunt Unabomber.
Love it. Dylan, finish her off.
I love everything.
No, that's Will.
Yes. Because it's Super Bowl Sunday that we're recording this, I'm going to go ahead and say I really recommend, especially now that he's passed, but I was always, I guess, kind of raised to be somewhat of a Prince fan in general. But if you watch the whole story on YouTube, there's videos where it's the whole story, not just the halftime show that he did, but what led up to it and like the shenanigans. It's such a mix of funny and then also just really, really cool stories and then really amazing performance.
Cool. Love it. So we got some YouTube videos in there. We have a podcast and we have a show. So if you guys want to check out any of that, if you have anything to recommend to us, do it in the same platforms. We're at French Fox Prod.
Say that 3 times fast.
French Fox Prod. Well, that's where we are on all social media. And yeah, this has been a super fun podcast. Any last remarks?
Yeah, make sure you tweet us with the hashtag
Cherry bomb.
All right, for the French Fox podcast number 28, this has been Dylan,
Hey.
Will,
I'll see you guys next time.
Ben,
Peace out, guys.
and I am Augie. Have a good one, everybody. See you next Thursday. See ya.